Kirk Cousins down in Atlanta just got benched. They are going to move on from him. They're going to start their rookie that they took, 8th overall, I think, this year, Michael Penix Jr. And, Kirk Cousins signed that humongous, how many year contract was it down there?
4 year, 100 and, was it 80?
180, I think.
It was 90 million guaranteed, I thought.
Big numbers for a guy coming off an Achilles tear and everything. And then, they drafted the rookie and they got a lot of criticism for it at the time. But now it looks like, well, hey, we didn't know what we were going to get out of Kirk. But then why'd you pay him so much? But, whatever. Hey, teams do stupid things at the quarterback position, don't they, Cleveland?
Yeah, 100%.
So, okay, so this sparks a lot of speculation I've seen all over social media. We talked to Jack Duffin from the OBR over the summer before the season even started, and one of the scenarios he laid out was, if Deshaun Watson doesn't play well or Deshaun Watson gets hurt, which it was kind of an either or. We didn't realize it would be both. He was going to suck and get hurt. But, he was talking about how the cap situation really isn't that bad with his contract. We can still have him on the roster and still have the type of money to pay. And his example, the guy he wanted was Kirk Cousins, because he kind of saw the future. He said, they're not going to stick with him. They're going to go to Penix at some point, probably sooner than later. Cousins will become available, and he could be a good bridge quarterback for the Browns. So what do you guys think? I've seen so much speculation now that's probably what's going to end up happening. One way or another, he's going to make his way to Cleveland with Kevin. What do you guys think? Justin, would you be happy to see Cousins here next year?
I would feel optimistic about Cousins. I know, obviously, this year he hasn't looked great. He's had moments. He's been up and down, but it's very confusing what's going on down there because they have weapons everywhere. They have athletic Kyle Pitts. He's just another letdown as far as just what he does. But Drake London is a star. He's a certified stud at the wide receiver position. You have a running back who might be a generational running back, just based on what you're seeing as far as progression. Getting to Kirk, though, so I might be completely wrong here. He has a no trade clause. So he would have to agree. Basically, I guess he would either have to agree to a trade if they would trade him, or if they cut him, then he goes to free agency, basically, and goes through that process. Call me crazy, but if you're Kirk Cousins and a guy who, if you look at him as far as what his contracts and stuff are and how he decides what he's going to do, he's very, very decisive. I don't know how in the world you convince him, hey, we're really, really kind of a dumpster fire right now. Come be a part of this. Come on. You know what I mean? And honestly,
we're not a dome either, right? So
right. Not yet. And the crazy thing though, is it could be a situation with maybe a Russell Wilson, you know what I mean? Cause they're going to probably take a lot of the salary in this deal. And I don't know the numbers. I'm just kind of guessing how this would play out. Cause they have him under contract. So I guess he would do almost a team-friendly deal like a Russell Wilson did, like a who am I missing? There's another guy that took a very team-friendly deal to come play. Basically, the other team was paying his salary. I just can't think of who it is. Go ahead. I'll let you guys go though. Well, I don't see how you convince him to come.
I was just going to say real quick, if you guys are listening, go follow Jack Duffin on X. Great follow if you want to have a more knowledgeable insight about cap situations and stuff with the team. He does that. He analyzes the cap situation with the Browns very well, and he's posting about it all the time, writing articles and stuff. So I know that there's a lot of people out there that just immediately go to, well, we can't afford to pay anybody. And it's yes, we can. And if you follow Jack and talk to Jack and read his stuff, you would understand that. And one thing that he was talking about was, and honestly, this is what I would almost expect. Like you were saying, Justin, he's so decisive, and hey, he doesn't want to get screwed over here, in this whole situation. I mean, I signed a contract, you gave it to me. We're going to make this, we're going to get this to the end here. And he posted on X, Jack said that Kirk Cousins could do something similar to what Derek Carr did in Las Vegas. He told the Raiders that he would not approve a trade because he had a no trade clause. So he forced them to cut him, and they had to pay him what he was owed. So he could do that with the Falcons, say, I'm on your team. You're not going to trade me. The only way you're getting me off the team is to cut me. So then he gets the money he's owed. He becomes a free agent. He can sign wherever he wants. And I believe, if I understood Jack's post correctly, he would carry a cap hit to that team of just $1.25 million for 2025. So similar to Russell Wilson, where yes, that other team is paying the contract for the year. You know, we could throw on whatever extra we want to, but he's already got his money for the year. It's just not being paid by us.
So does the Browns flip that with Deshaun and then they just sign each other? You know what I mean? Like, I'm making a joke, but I mean, I could see him here. The one thing is, I just quick mentioned, I just don't know about him not playing in the Dome at this point in his career. That might be something he would consider like a more southern location. I'd probably want to go for someone athletic to develop, maybe like Fields. But I haven't really looked much into the situation. Part of the thing I like about Fields is that I think he feels that he did really well. He doesn't understand as a starter that he was 4-2 or 4-1. I can't remember. But that's going to stick in his craw. And man, if he could play the Steelers every year and be in this division, you know, he'd probably be ready to get after them all the time. And those are guys that I'm kind of looking for that want to get after the guys in our division.
Yeah, I would be on board with Justin Fields. He would be probably toward the top of my wish list for the offseason. Sure. Kirk Cousins, Justin, we've talked about these injuries. We do that fantasy podcast and stuff. These lower body injuries, the ankles, the knees, the foot, the Achilles, these kinds of things. The first year back, rough. Usually very rough for these players. And the second year back is when you start to see their old explosiveness, the way they used to play, all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people that want to say Kirk Cousins is washed, his arm is shot. And excuse me, I haven't watched enough Falcons games to really evaluate it. Right. But how much of it is his arm is shot, or is he just not able to plant and put the pressure, the weight on his, on his lower body that he normally would, because of he's still coming back from that Achilles, that he's not getting the velocity on the ball that he used to. I don't know. I just know that whenever he played in 2019 with Kevin Stefanski as the offensive coordinator in Minnesota, in 15 games, he had 3,600 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions. This year, he's got a 66.9 completion percentage, which is nice, 3,580 yards, 18 touchdowns, but he has 16 picks. So really, I mean, Kirk Cousins has not played. People want to say, oh, he's been terrible this year. He really hasn't been terrible. He just hasn't been vintage Kirk, and the interceptions have been really high. Other than that,
what I've caught from Atlanta and games, and I specifically remember the Saints game, is he was moving Atlanta up and down the field. They stagnated in the red zone, and their kicker missed a ton of kicks. Yeah, and he did get sacked. They gave up more sacks than the Saints did. That's for sure. The Saints got after them. So maybe it's a line issue with them. But again, I'm like you. I don't watch the Falcons that often.
Yeah. I mean, if he's the type of quarterback that, as long as it is more of the Achilles injury than him just not being able to play quarterback anymore, what is he, 36 or something? It's not like super.
I thought he was older than that.
37,
38, but I could be completely wrong. Maybe
he is. I don't have that off. Yeah, look it up real quick.
I mean, he's in his late 30s.
Yes, and we're not talking about franchise quarterback here, guys. We're talking about a 1-year stopgap bridge type of quarterback to come in here. I just feel like if we were able to get back to Kevin Stefanski's offense, the one that Joe Flacco was running so well, I think Kirk Cousins can do that. Kirk Cousins can run play action pass and get you downfield. I think that if we get back to the right offense, Kirk Cousins and Ken Dorsey's offense, forget it. Absolutely forget it. It would be atrocious. So
take Cousins, put Genty in the backfield, get a left tackle. Let's go. AFC North.
And there you go. Right there's what I'm talking about. Maybe the change isn't that far off. We just need to get the right pieces and the right coaching and scheme and everything to fix this.
Yep. Yeah, Kirk Cousins is 36. Sorry,
36.
Guys.
Okay. Yeah. So he's Russell Wilson, right? Isn't Russell Wilson 36, 35?
Well, I don't know.
Now I'm asking you to look something up. Either way, you know what I'm saying.
What am I, the age of the quarterbacks guy on this show? What the hell, bro?
Come on, I thought you knew this stuff. Snap. If you guys are watching here, drop it in the comments. Let us know what you think. Kirk Cousins, yay. Kirk Cousins, nay. Do you guys think that he's washed? Do you think it's just year one back from the Achilles? The thing is, like, even Aaron Rodgers, and he tore his Achilles a lot earlier in the season last year than Cousins did. Rodgers looked rough for most of this year, but here recently, these last few games, 3 games or so, you're starting to see more vintage Rodgers. He's making the throws like he used to. And it's just like, okay, is it taking them that long to really be able to plant on that Achilles and do the things that they used to do? I think yes, because we've seen other players, running backs, Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard, some of these guys with the broken ankles and stuff. It just takes them a year. It just does. And maybe that's all this is with Kirk.
Sure.
Guys, if I roll out of bed the wrong way, I'm out for a couple weeks. So
I sit down on carpet too long. I can't
get back up.
Don't worry about it, man. You're good. I got bad knees, bad back. Josh, Russell Wilson's 36. All right. Quit asking questions you already know the answers to.
I feel like I know the answer and then I second guess. And so they are both 36 years old. But hey, for like if this situation were the one that played out, the one that Jack was posting about, and it's like a $1.2 million situation, yeah, you throw whatever you need to on top to say, hey, come up here and play with Kevin again. Come on, you guys were rocking in Minnesota. Come on, we're closer to Minnesota. You moved your family to Atlanta. You liked it up here in the north. Come on, get back up here.
Yeah,
100%, man. He played for Michigan State.
Then he checks our credit score and he's like, "Oh, damn, I can't do this. No, this is not a safe bet for me. This is not it." But I won't be negative. I would love to see Kirk Cousins on the Browns. I think that would be obviously if he's not who he is, that we're talking still about the same situation that we're already in. But if there is something still there, and you get him at a crazy low deal like that, like 1.2 million or something. Oh my. Yeah. Then, maybe the salary cap situation and the situation overall isn't as bad as we think.
No. And just to kind of wrap up this conversation with, again, more optimism for next year, hopefully. It's not like we're talking about bringing a guy like Kirk Cousins in here to stopgap a 1-in 15 team that's got just devoid of talent across the board. We've still got Myles Garrett. You've still got a stud cornerback, elite cornerback, Denzel Ward. You've still got JOK. You got Grant Delpit. You've got these phenomenal pieces. You still have, Jack Conklin's still an all-pro right tackle. You've got Wyatt Teller's looking at getting an extension. If you get these guys in the right scheme, they can be very good. You get a good young running back in here, bring back Nick Chubb in a complimentary role, a healthy Nick Chubb. You've got Judy, you got Tillman, you got Njoku. Maybe you draft a guy in the second or third round with some upside. You sign a guy in free agency. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, just don't turn the freaking ball over.
Maybe we don't stink.
Yeah, maybe we don't stink. That's the NFL, man. These things just change so fast year to year. It's the not for long league, and the Browns' success from last year was not for long at all.